Boosie just went off on T.I. after King Harris' private video leaked, and the streets can't believe what he said.
With the T.I. situation, if he did that, you're a fucking rat too. I don't spare no motherfucking body. Because if you doing anything wrong, you doing anything criminal-wise, and you cooperate with law enforcement to get you out of trouble, that means you're cooperating, that means you're a rat.
Do you have any questions for me?
No.
Do you need anything to go with you?
My phone.
Your phone? Where's your phone at?
In the car.
We're in the car.
Sexual.
I'm not looking for phones, I'm looking for drugs and guns.
I gotta say something about this, bro. Dwayne Wade, you gone too fucking far, dog. That is a male. A 12-year-old. At 12, they don't even know what their next meal gonna be.
Hey, one of you niggas who have been to the penitentiary before, man. What happened when a motherfucker say somebody ain't right and they got there show their paperwork and they is right? What's the penalty for that? Can somebody tell me what is that punishable by? Somebody tell me that.
I'm gonna tell you like this. When I saw that, I think T.I. fucking lying.
The rap game is messy enough when it comes to music beefs, money, and respect. But when family drama gets dragged into the spotlight, things explode in a way that nobody can ignore.
Of course, I spoke with my son. You know, me and his uncles. You know, we were perplexed by his necessity to go back and forth with a short order cook. I didn't understand why he felt he needed to stop what he was doing to engage someone who was at such another level of life. Now, I had to explain to him that, you know, when people are not living the way they hope they would live, and here you is walking in with so much freedom and luxury, and you know, people gonna posture themselves a certain way. So therefore, you're gonna have to enjoy your life. You're gonna have to remove yourself from that energy and go enjoy your life.
That's exactly what went down recently with T.I., his son King Harris, and Boosie, who never holds his tongue when he feels like someone's out of line. What started as just another leaked video controversy turned into a full-on showdown with Boosie firing off words that cut deep. The crazy part, this isn't just about King Harris or some private clip being out there. This whole situation digs at pride, manhood, and reputation in hip-hop culture. People already know that Boosie is quick to press the gas whenever he feels somebody's moving sideways, but this time it wasn't just business, it felt personal, and the streets couldn't stop talking about it. So let's start with what sparked all of this. A private video allegedly involving King Harris surfaced online, and once that clip hit the internet, the chatter started instantly. Whether people should have even been spreading it around is one thing, but you know how fast social media spins things out of control. Within hours, the topic wasn't just about King, it became about T.I. as a father and as a man who's always spoken on integrity, raising his family, and carrying himself as someone bigger than the games people play in the industry. That contradiction, it gave his critics the perfect opening, and you already know Boosie was gonna take it. The Baton Rouge rapper didn't hold back at all. Instead of taking the quiet route, he lit up T.I. with sharp words that came across more like an attack than advice. And the way he delivered it, with that raw energy and southern bite, made the whole situation even heavier. Now, this isn't the first time Boosie and T.I. crossed paths in the headlines, but this was different. This wasn't about music collabs or label talk. This wasn't about bragging rights over a business deal. This was straight up about family, respect, and embarrassment in the public eye.
That's my baby. That's my baby. Get it?
See, when something private gets leaked, people usually close ranks, try to protect their family, and push for silence. But instead, the opposite happened here. The leak turned into fuel for Boosie to lash out at T.I., almost like he had been waiting for the right moment to air some hidden frustrations. He framed it like T.I. wasn't living up to his own words, like he was trying to expose cracks in the image Tip has built over decades in the game. That's why it hit so hard with the audience. It wasn't just the leak, it was the way Boosie went in hammering on T.I.'s credibility while the world watched. This is where the street energy comes in. In hip-hop, your word is everything. If you stand on principles, you better live them, because the second you slip, the wolves are coming. And that's how Boosie played it. He painted T.I. like someone who talks one way in interviews but lives another way at home. He didn't sugarcoat it either. His delivery was sharp, laced with the kind of passion that makes people rewind clips just to make sure they heard it right. Fans were quick to jump in too, with some saying Boosie had no right to come for a man about his child's business, while others claimed he was just saying what everybody else was thinking but didn't have the guts to voice. That split reaction made the whole controversy trend even harder, with both sides throwing takes like gasoline on the fire. And you got to look at the bigger picture here. Boosie wasn't just talking to T.I., he was sending a message to everybody watching. It was like he wanted to prove that no one is above being checked, no matter their status. T.I. might be an Atlanta legend, a businessman, a family man, and a rapper with a long track record, but Boosie was saying loud and clear that if something don't sit right with him, he'll call it out. That type of energy is why Boosie always stays in headlines. Love him or hate him, he speaks in a way that people can't ignore. And with this particular moment, he locked himself into another viral storm that had the whole culture debating about loyalty, image, and how far you should go when family matters become public. Once the dust started to rise, the streets got even louder. Every blog, every live stream, and every comment section was lit up with people weighing in, and the lines got drawn real fast. Some folks defended T.I., saying that no parent should be judged over something their child does, especially when it involves leaked private content. But on the flip side, others couldn't stop pointing out how T.I. has built a reputation of always being vocal, always speaking on morality, and always checking other people publicly. So now that his own household was in the spotlight, the tables turned on him. And guess who made sure those tables flipped with extra noise? Boosie. His words weren't just heated, they were personal, laced with frustration like he had a score to settle.
I gotta say something about this, bro. Dwayne Wade, you gone too fucking far, dog. That is a male. A 12-year-old. At 12, they don't even know what their next meal gonna be. They don't have it figured out yet. He might meet a woman, anything, at 16 and fall in love with her. But his be gone. How you gonna... Like, bro, you going too far, dog. Don't cut his off, bro. Like, bro, for real. If he gonna be gay, let him be gay. But don't cut his off, bro.
The way Boosie called out T.I. made people question if this was really just about the leaked video, or if it was the spark that set off years of bottled up feelings between them. Remember, these two Southern rap giants have had moments of brotherhood, moments of respect, and also moments of disagreement. They even had business talks at one point, but it never turned into the partnership some fans wanted. So maybe this was more than just a one-off reaction. Maybe Boosie saw a chance to say what he's been holding back. When he said what he said, it didn't sound like a passing comment. It sounded like a man unloading, and that's why the internet picked up on it so quick. You could feel the venom behind the delivery, like he wanted to shake T.I.'s image down to the core. And that's what makes this situation messy. Hip-hop has always been about pride, reputation, and standing tall when someone comes at you. But when it's family being dragged into the conversation, the rules change. Normally, rappers keep that line clear. You don't bring kids or loved ones into the beef, but here the leak made it unavoidable. King Harris was at the center, whether anyone liked it or not, and that gave the whole thing a different level of intensity. Some fans were saying Boosie crossed the line by even speaking on it, while others said he was only reacting the way any man in the culture would if they saw something that didn't sit right. Either way, the fact that King was caught in the crossfire made everything 10 times more dramatic. And it's not just drama for the sake of headlines either. Think about the weight this puts on both camps. For T.I., he's a father first, and having his son caught up in scandal while people tear his name apart in the process has to sting. For Boosie, though, this gave him a megaphone to remind everyone that he's the guy who doesn't care about industry politics or celebrity shielding. He's gonna say it how he feels it, consequences be damned. That's the persona Boosie has carried for years. And honestly, it's what keeps him relevant even when he's not dropping chart toppers. He lives off being raw, and this situation handed him a perfect alley-oop to flex that rawness in front of the world. What makes this even more complex is the way the audience processed it. Younger fans, the TikTok generation, jumped into memes, jokes, and clowning the whole thing, not taking it too serious. But the older fans, the ones who followed both rappers for decades, were split in a different way. They saw it as a code of conduct issue. Some said T.I. should have been off limits because family matters are sacred, while others said T.I. put himself in this spot by always talking big on discipline, morals, and what it means to be a man. Basically, they felt that if you set the standard, you got to be ready to be measured by it too. That clash in perspective kept the conversation alive for weeks with no clear side coming out on top. The irony in all this, both Boosie and T.I. are cut from the same southern cloth when it comes to hustling, grinding, and surviving the trenches.
And one of you niggas who have been to the penitentiary before, man, what happened when a motherfucker say somebody ain't right and they got there show their paperwork and they is right? What's the penalty for that? Can somebody tell me what is that punishable by? Somebody tell me that. See, most of you motherfuckers ain't never been in no trouble, motherfuckers ain't never been nowhere. Anybody tell me. It been 20 years, bro. It been 20 years. I figure if I wasn't built like that, it'll show by now. It been 20 years, bro. I done faced every challenge motherfucker like to throw at me, man. You ain't seen me fold, you ain't seen me break down yet. Matter of fact, I come out smelling too good, the way you nigga think something wrong.
He went on Instagram. Both of them have faced cases, jail time, street wars, and have stories that shape their image as tough, no-nonsense rappers. But when you put pride in the mix, sometimes the similarities don't bring unity. They bring friction. That's exactly what we're seeing here. Boosie isn't afraid to throw shots, and T.I. isn't the type to back down, which means the feud isn't just about one video anymore. It's about two men who built their names off strength and aren't willing to look weak in front of millions of eyes. And that right there is why this whole saga feels bigger than just King Harris. It feels like the kind of southern rap rivalry that the culture hasn't seen in a while, and fans are eating it up like it's primetime TV drama. By the time the drama reached its peak, it wasn't just about who said what. It was about the bigger picture of reputation, power, and how the culture treats situations like this. People started looking at T.I. under a microscope, questioning every speech he's given, every lesson he's ever put out there about family values and respect. The internet, don't forget, and clips of old interviews resurfaced where Tip talked about raising his kids a certain way, protecting his family, and being a strong role model. Now, with King Harris at the center of a viral scandal and Boosie taking direct shots, those words came back to haunt him. The vibe online was split. Some said T.I. was being unfairly targeted while going through a personal family situation, but others felt like the rapper was tasting a bit of his own medicine after years of publicly checking others for their choices. The hypocrisy angle was heavy, and that's why people wouldn't let it go. Meanwhile, Boosie kept that same energy. He wasn't walking anything back, and the more attention it got, the more it fueled his presence in the conversation. That's how Boosie operates. He thrives on being at the center of the storm, and his comments weren't just being discussed in hip-hop circles. Mainstream blogs and entertainment outlets picked it up too, which only magnified the heat. The way Boosie framed his words made him look like the guy willing to say out loud what others only whispered behind closed doors. Whether people agreed with him or not, they tuned in because he's unpredictable. He might laugh in one breath and snap in the next, but he'll always keep it real to his perspective no matter who he's addressing. That unpredictability made the whole feud feel like something you had to keep tabs on because at any moment, another wild statement could drop and shake things up again. But what about King Harris himself? Being in the middle of all this wasn't exactly something he signed up for. The younger generation moves different, and King's been carving his own lane for a while, making music, showing up in viral clips, and trying to prove that he's more than just T.I.'s son. But when private content leaks, it changes the narrative. Suddenly, instead of being judged as an artist or even just a personality online, you're being judged through the lens of scandal. And with Boosie dragging his dad in the process, it put King in a tough position. Does he defend himself, defend his father, or stay quiet while the storm blows over? Silence might be smart in moments like this, but in today's digital age, people demand a response, and every move or non-move gets interpreted 100 different ways. That's why the story has legs. It's not just about the two older rappers beefing, it's about a young man's name being tied into the fire whether he likes it or not. At the same time, you can't overlook how the public turned the situation into entertainment. Memes, jokes, debates, and even fake rumors spun off from the original story, making it bigger than it ever needed to be. That's the wild part about scandals in the internet era. Once the story starts rolling, you don't control it anymore. It becomes everybody's playground, and the truth gets mixed with speculation, opinions, and flat-out lies. For Boosie, that chaos works in his favor because the louder it gets, the more eyes are on him. For Ty, though, it's the opposite. He has to fight through the noise to protect both his name and his family, and that's a fight you can't always win online. That difference in positioning is what makes this clash so intense. One thrives on drama, the other takes damage from it. And let's be real, this whole ordeal exposed something bigger about hip-hop culture. It showed how fast loyalty can turn into scrutiny and how easily a private family matter can become a public battlefield. Back in the day, these kinds of things would have been whispers on the block, maybe stories told in barbershops. Now, they're trending topics with millions of views dissected by bloggers, podcasts, and Twitter threads that stretch miles long. The internet doesn't just watch, it judges, it jokes, it picks sides, and it keeps score. That's why this story went from a leak to a full-blown feud in record time. Boosie understood the game and leaned into it, while T.I. was left trying to figure out how to manage damage control without looking weak. And that right there is the core of the conflict. Strength versus perception, pride versus protection, and two Southern legends clashing in a digital arena they didn't create, but have to survive in. When it's all said and done, one thing's clear. This situation is a reminder that in hip-hop, nothing stays private for long, and the moment your name gets tied to scandal, everybody's watching. For T.I., this will go down as one of those moments where his role as a father got tested in front of the world, and every word he ever spoke about responsibility got thrown back at him. For Boosie, it's another notch in his reputation as the raw, unfiltered voice of the streets, unafraid to put pressure on anybody, even another legend. And for King Harris, it's a lesson about how fast the internet can turn your name into a headline, whether you like it or not. One leaked video turned into weeks of headlines, debates, and public shots fired, proving once again that in this culture, controversy doesn't just knock, it kicks the door wide open.